Good afternoon, dear Vilnius University students and guests of the lecture, What Today's Employers and Employees Expect from Each Other. My name is Marija Miselytė. I am a career project coordinator at Vilnius University, and I will be today's session moderator. Before we start, I would like to remind you a few things. First of all, this lecture is organized by Student Affairs and Career Office. And if you have any questions or if you are looking for a job and internship, if you have questions about study process and financial support, or you need some help to overcome your study challenges, our academic and career counselors are always ready to help you. We work online even during quarantine. So you might find our contacts at Vilnius University website. Today's lecture is one of the series called Time for Your Career. During the series, representatives of Lithuanian and international companies share their experience and insights with Vilnius University students. Today's lecture will be held by Marija Miselytė, Learning and Development Specialist at the company Cognizant. She has 10 years of experience in HR and recruitment. One more thing, this lecture is going to be recorded, and later you will find it at Vilnius University YouTube channel. And if you have any questions before, during, or after the lecture, feel free to write them in a chat. I will read them to Marija and she will answer them. So, Marija, we are waiting for your insights and thoughts.
Yeah. Hello, thank you, Monica, for invitation and introduction. So let's talk today about expectations. So what employers and employees expect from each other. I will share some insights from my experience, what I had in recruitment before. I worked in recruitment agency and internal companies as well. And I can compare that experiences and share with you some practical insights as well. I'm related with science. Last year I got PhD in organizational psychology. So I will combine some insights from researchers and will show you some results and to show how just expectations are happening and what is current day's reality, speaking on job search and finding it, leaving job, and another similar reasons. First of all, I want to shortly introduce Cognizant. If you didn't know me, yes, or you know to want us better. So with Cognizant, I'm already 3 years. And what I know already about this company. So first of all, we are a big global company. Cognizant has about 166 offices around the world, and the main office is in USA. And today already Cognizant is 26 years old as a company. You know, in Lithuania we are much more younger, but we have really global approach and global perspective, and Cognizant has like 3 main business areas what we are doing. So we have like business consulting area, business operations, and IT. In Vilnius Center we have more than 500 employees. The biggest department or unit is business operations. So our employees are conducting operations for finance, industry, companies, accounting, and some banking operations, and as well a part of our operations team are working with robotic process automations, and we are automizing like most routine tasks, most routine actions, what is happening in business operations. And from that perspective, we see what already, roles in organization are changing, skills are changing, what associates are doing in our company and in other businesses as well. And another area, as I mentioned, is IT. So our IT team is working with various like tools and applications creation for business. So we have teams who are working with data lakes creations, for working with big data, for making forecasting for business, and so on. Also, Cognizant has one like research team. It's not in Lithuania, but this team is very strong related with jobs and the future, we can say. This team are making forecasting what jobs, what roles will be like relevant or most important, speaking in 10 years perspective. So I think it's already relevant for you, speaking about your career, what you can do in 10 years and even later. So they just forecasting regarding technical orientation. So what technologies are changing, what is tendency in technology world, and as well how it's related with social roles, social activities, and we are forecasting regarding it, what will change in 10-year perspectives. So as we can say, is already currently some roles related with data, especially like data trash engineer is currently starting such a functions, or cybercrime counselors, voice UX designer, because everything is moving online and much important became user experience, not just visible but also outdoor. So it's coming and it's already starting such a role. And in 10-year perspective, we will see more like various or new programming areas like haptic interface, flying car, developers, and so on, what is currently still not on demand, but it will be on demand in quite close future. And of course, that changes is happening not just in IT area, it's happening also in social sciences, social areas, yes. And we will have some demand like to work with purpose planning, to consult people how to raise their goals, how to behave in business, various subscription management, for example, specialists and related roles. So if you want, you can find online, just Google 21 more jobs, and you can read in more detail what exactly requirements will be for this new roles and what you can do in 10 years perspective. Yes. So now let's look how employers and employees are finding each other. So in my career experiences, I heard not once like people are saying, you can find a good job just if you have some family members who are rich and can provide you a good position and so on. But what we met in recruitment practice, mostly it's not true. It's a lot of different organizations in Lithuania, and all organizations care about their business results. So first of all, it's not enough to hire your family members. And second, they care about their business result. Yes. So they expect to have best employees who will help to achieve their business results. So companies are really investing in searching for people, in headhunting experts in that area where they are working, and so on. And it's not so easy and simple process as I can say, because you need to find that people to motivate them to join your company and to make sure they will be happy in your company. And of course, companies are searching for employees through different channels. Yes, so almost all companies are using job boards. So you can just open various portals, just like CV Online, CV Market, CV Bankers, Meet Frank, and so on. And you will see what positions are open, what is available, and you can apply. But for companies, it's not enough. Maybe for like more junior roles, what doesn't require a high qualification, or it's like starting positions, we can select from self-applications, but especially when we are talking about high qualification roles, it's not enough. And quite a lot of companies are using LinkedIn for searching employees. Yes, so I recommend to create your profile, and maybe you will be contacted by some company. Also, you can apply to various roles in LinkedIn, because there is like different solutions that LinkedIn is offering for companies. We can search for employees. We can add jobs in LinkedIn, and you will see that jobs if it's related with your area. Yes. Also, part of companies has their own career websites. So if you are interested to some specific companies, just go to their website. You can apply directly to roles that you see there, because maybe not all companies, all open positions are posting to like open job boards. Also, you can find more there for that specific organization, and as well you can read more about that organization and go to interview already prepared, because it makes impression when you know already what organization is doing, what is their vision, strategy, and another things what is visible and reachable for you. Currently, like new trend is employee referral systems or schemas what organizations are using. So we also in Cognizant have employee referral systems. So our internal employees can refer people what they know, what are good in that area, maybe their previous colleagues, maybe their study friends. And if they will make successful referral, it means if that person will be hired and stay in company longer than a trial period, so they will get bonus for that successful recommendation. And there is various job candidate aggregators, there is various events, so university, career fair events. There is also area where companies are searching for potential employees, and maybe you can find some internship or junior role in that events. Yes, and as I mentioned in the beginning, Cognizant is doing various automations, and current trend is what almost all processes can be automated with this approach of companies who are doing it. So let's look what if you will met robot in the future recruitment, and if it can change personal touch, if recruitment can be made just by robot without recruiter and manager interruption. So I can say at this point, currently, companies who once were already using quite a lot of automations in recruitment in almost all recruitment stages. So here is example of one product created for recruitment automation, and from the beginning of recruitment, it can be automated almost all steps. Yes, so first of all, job demand from managers can come through automated systems to recruiter. Recruiter by one click can post job boards to different channels. When robots can screen a CV matching, how much suitable keywords we are finding, for example, in CV. Also, robot can do interview as well. You already can be invited for some companies to have at least first interview, not with person, but with robot. It can be done in different ways. You can get some questions, for example, like in chat format, and you can answer by writing your thoughts or by recording video with your answers. As well, you can get like a chatbot call by voice, and that robot will ask you some questions and your answers will be recorded. So it's already various tools for interviewing. Yes, and also you can get various tasks to do on cloud, on internet tools, various, for example, various brain games, personality tests, and various tasks that you can do just by joining some cloud environment, and a company can have some criteria or some like minimum score that you need to select to be invited to live interview, and you need to meet that criteria. Yes, and of course, candidate data can be managed by various automated systems, hiring process like robot can create automatically from provided data, like job agreement without personal touch, and so on. Just we need to get that right data. But at this point, I think robots are helping quite a lot for companies who already want to do it. It's saving time and it helps to make faster process, but at least in final interview, personal touch is needed because robots as well are doing mistakes sometimes, and if robot will select some candidates, yes, it doesn't mean that it will be good to work with that person for team members, and for the manager, because robots doesn't feel all that emotional aspects, how a person is communicating. Of course, there is some tools what can help to evaluate it, but still not so good working as personal evaluation and specific that feeling and understanding of people what robots still didn't have. But I can say what it wouldn't have one day, maybe, who knows, but some companies are already starting to create like some like artificial intelligence decision makers, what candidates to hire. But one of such companies met issue when allow for robot artificial intelligence to decide which candidates suit best. For example, that company met issue we found that robot is discriminating women, for example, and it was found that in that prototype was invited to participate just more men than women, and then robot decided that men are better workers than women. When company found, they stopped that project, and maybe we are trying to improve. I didn't know on current day how it finished, but still it was found some issues on that decision making for hiring. So as for now, it's like supporting tool automation, but not fully everything robotized or automated. Yes. When I look to researchers, and as well from my experience, I know that there is some like trend skills what companies expect from employees, from candidates. So here is some skills, most popular skills what was selected, so summarized from various job advertisements that researchers found by screening. And like most popular skills, I can say is taking initiative on current days, as everything is changing very fast and companies are doing various change, and it's important not just to adapt to changes, but also companies expect to have employees who will tend to take initiative to make some changes, to improve something, and to automate maybe some processes by their own initiative. Also, companies are expecting a positive attitude is very important because mostly companies are like working in teams, yes, in companies people. And if there is like negative attitude people, it can be enough one negative person in the team, and it's strongly interrupting teamwork. It can have impact even for result. So companies expect to have positive attitude to work, to team. Also in current days is important entrepreneurial spirit. So it's especially for startup companies or companies who are creating new products. It's important to have that people who will be able to create new things, to innovate, to sell their ideas, and to be like business inspirers. And another important point is result orientation. So companies are working because of their results. So it's important that people will be able to achieve that results, what companies expect. Another point is team players. So it's a bit related with positive attitude. Yes, people are working in the team, but it's not enough to be positive. It's also important to collaborate in the team, to be able to share their knowledge between team members, to share their tasks, work together to achieve result. Yes. Also important is to be dependable and responsible, to be able to take responsibility for your actions. Yes, and to contribute to results by doing your best. For me, as currently I'm working with trainings, I also see what is for companies very important, the desire for continued learning, and this criteria skill is related with changes, because companies and systems in companies, for example, are changing. And for company, it's important that employees will learn that new tools and new way how we are working quickly. Even roles can change. But for example, if process will be automated fully, it means that process will be done later just by robots. So people will move to another role. Maybe they will be upskilled to automizing, and we will automate processes by themselves, and so on. So it's various that things or reasons why for companies it's important continue learning and be able to learn quickly. And of course, every organization set their criteria for each role. what we are searching for. So I can divide, and also research literature is dividing like main criteria, main areas for criteria what companies are using for deciding what candidate suits best for that role. So first of all, when we are starting recruitment, we need to evaluate what we expect from perfect candidates, what achievements are important for that role. So for example, if we are searching for some senior role, for some expert to manage a new project, so for us it will be important to have experience on implementing maybe similar projects, to have achievement on doing it successfully, and to able to demonstrate that skills what we expect, yes, and skill knowledge. So what we are able to do. So what skills and knowledge we need for this concrete role. Do we need university education for this role? If yes, what degree will be important for us? What person already should be able to do, and what he or she should know from theoretical perspective. Yes, so we are deciding what level of skills and knowledge we need for that role. If we see what is like, we can hire some junior person, so it's lower requirement. It means we can train that person. So at this point, it can be important to have some knowledge from studies about that topic, and it will be enough. Yeah, but it's not enough for organization just to have the right skills and right achievements. It's also important people motivation and attributes. So motivation is why people are interested in this role. Would they be happy on doing that task? What is the function of that role? If we will hire a very introvert person to sales role, and that person will need to call every day like 20 or more times to clients, that person will be demotivated very, very fast. Yeah. So for that kind of roles, we will search for candidates who will like to communicate a lot. Yeah. And for the role, there is like more routine tasks, maybe, or some analytical work. We will search for person who likes to analyze, who likes working with Excel, with statistical packages, and feels like really engaged in that activities. It means that person will feel motivated in that kind of role. Yes. And the last, but I think most important, maybe attributes. So how people or what values people has, and how that values is related with our role. Yes, if for example, if for that role is important for us team player. Yes, so we will expect team player attribute for that role, and we will evaluate if person has that attribute, what is value for him or her, what makes him proud, and to make like match between our attribute, because how people are working, what is their work routines. Yes, if person likes to work, for example, like from home or more from office, so it depends from that role. If we are searching for a person who should work from office, yes, so we should evaluate if person likes to do it, if he's a good team collaborator, team player, that is his or her approach to office work, to organization values without office, and so on. So we are evaluating all these criteria to decide what person suits best for our role. Yes, and regarding that criteria, we can make like a matrix or dimensions. Yeah, and after interviews with candidates, we can just put candidates on that box where match best. Yes, so if we have candidates who didn't have NEFA needed skills and achievements for that role, NEFA attributes and motivation, so definitely we wouldn't hire that person. Yes, the perfect station will be if a candidate will have the right skills and achievements and right attributes and motivation to that role. So it's perfect candidate if he or she is coming to interview, definitely we want to hire that person. But sometimes, maybe sometimes not, sometimes it happens. What we need to choose between attributes, motivation, and skills, achievements, dimensions. We can have candidates who has the right skills and achievements, but we didn't feel motivated in that area. Maybe we are already tired of doing that work. Maybe they chose before not the right role for them, but okay, currently it's hard to find another kind of job because everybody is looking to your experience now, and you feel like, oh no, yes. So there is no like another reason just to work in this area if I want to keep the same salary level, for example, yes. And another the main mention can be like okay, junior person who is really motivated and wants to work in that area, but didn't have the right skills and achievements for our current role. Yes, so from that perspective, for organization is more useful to hire more motivated person comparing with person with no motivation but good skills. So just in case if we will have situation that it's like really senior role, it's important to finish project, yes, and we didn't have the right person, we must to hire it, and we are not finding perfect candidate, maybe we will hire that person for some contract to finish that project and then decide if we want to stay with that person longer or not. Yes, and if we are able to, to take a new person and to train, so we will do it, especially if we have already in the team already experienced people. So it's not hard for us and it's useful for us to take juniors, to take interns and to grow them to that roles, what we need, what we will need in the future. So it's good sign for you as well that you can already start various internships or junior roles and try what you like to do, try to work in organization and start your career. Yes. Now let's look what candidates expect from employers. So here is also findings from researchers. So like most important for candidates is to have like feeling what CEO or top management prioritize talents. So they expect to have development opportunities in company, to make career, to grow their skills. And this expectation has about 90% of employees or candidates, but in reality just 36% feels what we are getting it in an organization where we are working. Yes, so here is an area where organizations can work more to provide more talent and growing opportunities. We, for example, in Cognizant already have some success source planning programs, leadership programs to grow potential employees to higher roles. Yes. Another in current days, especially important criteria expectation is the ability to meet candidates where they are. And it's in all recruitment phases, it's important starting from search where we are finding candidates. So if like 10 years ago, it was usual to call by phone and to agree about next steps of recruitment. In current day, younger generation, they prefer more chatting, no, more like chatting tools, and not every will answer if you will call by phone. But I also met in recruitment when I tried to call for some candidates several times, they didn't answer. Then I wrote email or chat to Facebook, and one person answered very fast. So it's already changing. So it's important for people to use that channels, what is important for them. So organizations need to adapt and to use more channels for contacting, more channels for doing interviews. Yes, it's already not just face-to-face interviews, but we are doing also video interviews, and we can hire person without meeting face-to-face. If person is working in another city, in another country, we can make just video interview before hiring. Yes. Also, it's important internal mobility to be able to move between roles, to try to do something new, to take more responsibilities, and so on. Important is diversity and inclusion, to be accepted by companies. Doesn't matter what is your religious attribution, what is your sexual orientation, what is your gender. People need to be equally accepted during interview process. So in Cognizant, for example, we also have very strict internal requirements for diversity and inclusion, and we need to keep in recruitment process and to make sure not to discriminate anybody. So I think more companies also, especially international companies, global companies, are paying a lot of attention to this question and growing this. Another important point is business decisions. What tie back to the company's mission? It means what candidates expect, what that thinks, what was promised or introduced during interview will happen in reality. If company said what my value is, to make changes, to make innovations, and when we join company, we got to know what we can't initiate anything. Manager is not allowing it. So it's big mismatch, and it can be reason why people will leave that company later because their expectations, what was promised during interview, didn't match reality. Yes. Also, candidates expect to have seamless onboarding from candidate to employee process. So it's important to feel good and easy accepted by companies, and Cognizant also has onboarding program, and before joining, a person is getting email with details where to come first day, how it will be prepared, and so on. And when he or she come to office, they are getting welcome pack, they are meted by their manager, and also we have buddy, like friend, who is helping first months to adapt to Cognizant easier and faster. And also on current days, especially with COVID-related remote work. So before COVID it was like a dream for most candidates to have at least 2 days, for example, per week or per month to ability to work from home. So some companies was providing it, but not so many, And COVID made that almost all offices moved to work from home. So already for some candidates it's too much now, but for some people it's really comfortable to work from home all the time. So after COVID, I think that already more companies will see that, yes, it's not so hard to provide availability to work from home, and we can mix it and provide for more people availability to do it. So that demand will be met. Here is a result from a big research that was made by UK researcher consultant Robert Walkers. So he found that what things is most important for candidates to make decision to accept that role where we are applying, if we are getting offer from company or not to accept. So first thing that is very important is speed and length of recruitment process. If it was speed response during all stages of recruitment, and it was length and easy. So we didn't want to have long and hard process with a lot of stages. Very important thing is interview process. So during this process, employee and employer can just like change their expectations and to make impression for each other, good or bad impression, and if company will do it not in good way, a candidate can decide to not to accept offer from company. So what is important in interview process? So most important thing is to get adequate information about the role, what exactly that person will need to do in that role. Yes. Then it's important interviewer's personality, how we like, doesn't like it. We can say it's that attribute criteria from candidate perspective as well to companies and to that people that we are meeting during interview process. Yes. Also, it's important to have enough opportunities to ask questions. Companies need to provide space for candidates to ask their questions, what is important for them. Yes. Also, it's important to have enough opportunity to explain their relevant experience, to show what we can do, and to ask questions for it to be able to present their abilities and skills. And the last important thing is appropriate welcome before interview. So how we are met when we are coming to company, what is their feeling to come that company, if interviewer is coming on time to take them from reception, if there is like positive approach from there or not. So we're also making some expectations related with that things. And from this research came like 3 conclusions for companies. So what is important for their branding from that candidate experience perspective. So first point is what job seekers expect feedback at all stages of recruitment process. Yes, so 99% expect feedback on their performance at interview within 7 days of it taking place. Yes, so we expect really fast process, and fast decisions, fast feedback. Yes. Second, job seekers tell people about their experience during the recruitment process. Yes, so it doesn't matter it was good or bad experience. People will talk about it with their family members, with their friends. Maybe will post in social channels some like their insight, how we felt. And the important thing is what people who had bad experience during hiring process, they will tend to share with more people about that bad experience. So it doesn't matter if company is selecting or rejecting candidate, and for example, if we already feeling during interview that yes, this person is not suitable for our role, but in any case, we need to communicate with that person in positive way, yes, to provide enough space to ask questions and to talk about his or her experience, to make a good impression, but that person care for company, and even if that person will get rejection, he or she will feel good because we had good experience during that interview and all recruitment process. Yes, and that point is what job seekers expect an efficient recruitment process, but doesn't drag on. Yes, 99%. I think it should take less than 2 months. Yes, and I expect even faster. And even company is hire candidates. Some people are leaving, some faster, some are working longer. And let's look to the reasons why people are deciding to leave company where they are working. So the most popular reason is not money, not salary. The most popular reason is concern about the lack of opportunities for advancement. So people expect to have opportunities to grow their skill, to make career, yes, and if their expectations are not fulfilled on organization, we are deciding to leave. And in current day, I see what it becomes more and more important, and people expect faster career, yes, and some are deciding, okay, I am already 1 year in the organization, so where is my promotion? Yeah, another waiting 2 years, another 3 years. So it's different approaches, but it's important for both sides, employees and organizations, to talk about their expectations and to communicate about it openly. Is it possible to do what person needs to do to be promoted, to get that role that he or she expects, and so on? Yes. And the second reason is unsatisfied with the leadership of senior management. Maybe they had bad relations, doesn't like how manager is communicating, and so on. The third reason is unsatisfied with the work environment and culture. Yes, so here can be values, attribute mismatch. Yes, and if person doesn't feel what it's not matching values and treat what he or she expected, it's he or she are deciding to leave company. Yes, some people say what we wanted more challenging work. Maybe it's too routine work. We expected that we will be able to implement some changes, to create something new, but we are not getting it. So again, it's expectation mismatch. Yes. Then just in 5 places unsatisfied with compensation and benefits. Yeah, so just 34% care about their salary, yes, to get a bigger salary, faster growth of salary, and another conditions. And also is unsatisfied with reward and recognition for their contribution. Yeah, so they feel that their contribution to work is not evaluated. And for example, another colleague, but I think is doing the same job, got better evaluation and was promoted, got bigger bonus comparing with me. And I feel what as I was not enough rewarded for it. So here is also a reason why people are changing their jobs. So here is the areas for expectations discussion, and it's important to discuss about these things when you're searching for a job, and try to clarify if that organization will meet your expectations and select regarding if your expectations and matching with organization expectations for that role, for you, and then decide to accept job offer what you got from some company or not. Okay, so it's all what I wanted to share. Yes, so I'm waiting for your questions, and also you can go to time for your career site and evaluate this presentation. So.
Yes, we do have the first two questions, and I hope there will be a few more. First of all, there's one question about the motivation. How a company check motivation of employee?
Most simple way is to ask questions about motivation. Yes, what motivates you to do that best? On that situations, you feel most like engaged, most fulfilling yourself. So when candidates are talking about that situations and what motivated him or her in his or her previous experience, it shows for a company tendency. For example, if candidate is telling, I created that new thing, and I feel energized for it because I really was like happy about myself, what I achieved it, and one company understand, okay, for this candidate is very important achievements and to create something new. So it will be possible in this role or not. If yes, it's a good match. If this role is more for routine task, so we can expect that it will demotivate that person.
Okay, thank you. The second question was written in Lithuanian language, so as we held the lecture in English, I will try to translate it. Okay. So how do you evaluate the company who at first employs a new person who doesn't have an experience? They do not do any trainings for them, for that person, and they say, go yourself and try learning, and like it's your job. So, and after the first period, usually that takes 3 months, they fire it, and as the person that is not good for the job position. So how do you evaluate that company and such kind of strategy?
I didn't agree to such a strategy. I think that companies need to invest to their employees, to new joiners, to have good employees and motivated employees and good performing employees. So definitely trainings, mentoring should be done for every new joiner, and elementary, just like intro sessions, how to work with that process, with that program, maybe some handbooks prepared if you didn't have time to sit with that person. So you can invest a bit time and prepare really clear guidelines how to do that work. And then every new joiner will get a very detailed handbook where he or she will be able to read that. And if not understanding something, I think it should be provided availability that we can contact some concrete person for that, and to know that context with whom we can contact if something is unclear for them. So I think it's a must thing to train new people.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Another question is, what exactly is meant when saying company values? Could you give some examples? And how is it possible for the candidate not to match those values?
Yeah, so values, so it's simple. What I value, what is important for me. Yes, so it's important for me just to get the biggest salary as soon and possible. So if yes, so I need to search for a job where is the most important thing. Okay, if you will put enough work, your salary will increase very fast. Maybe it's some sales role. If you will show the best efforts, you will get very fast salary increase. Maybe your salary will be related with your results. Yes, and it will motivate you, and company also will be happy to have you because it's like value for both sides. Yes, so every company, every person has a different values. So for understanding your values, you can do a very like simple exercise. You can search on internet is peak experiences exercise, where is like peaks and values in your life. So you need to think about some situations that can be related with your career experience. If you already have career experience, maybe you have some volunteering experience, or you can think about your study experience. So what 3-5 situations created most like joy for you? Remember that situations, think about that. So what was like conditions in that situation, what people were surrounding you, what you did, what you achieved, and what created joy for you. As well, you need to think about that valleys or situations where you felt frustrated. So what exactly frustrated you? Yes, so maybe you wasn't able to complete something, and it frustrated you. Maybe you didn't get like team support and it frustrated you. And then you need to like just write it down, that 3-5 peak situations and at least 3 valley situations. And then think, so what was values under that? It was important for me achievement. It was important flexibility. It was important for me to have good relations. Yes, and when you clarify your values, then you will know what you expect to have in your next job. Yes, so you can bring that values with yourself to company, and you can ask company what is important for them, what we values in their employees. Maybe they also values flexibility, and if you expect to have flexibility, to be flexible to choose how to work, to be flexible to choose work time. So you need to discuss it, and you will get to know if it's important for company, if it's value for them or not. So it's everything, what is value, what is important for you.
Okay, we also have a question about future interviews. Do you think it is fair from candidate perspective to speak with the artificial intelligence program for first work interview process stage?
I think yes. It's of course depends from the roles, and yes, we need to divide our candidates audiences. It can be not acceptable maybe for a person who is already working more than 10 years and has nothing related with IT technologies. Maybe person is doing some work that is not related totally with technologies. We are not using it in work. Maybe it can be difficult, so we need to respect it. But mostly, especially when we are talking about millennials, the younger generations, so we already like chatting and various such tools. So from my experience of what I met, it's interesting for them, and it doesn't somehow frustrate or something like that. And for companies, especially who are getting a lot of applications, it helps to simplify process to screen candidates faster, and maybe it will provide opportunity for more candidates to show what we can do, because now there is limited resources, and if company is getting like 200 applications, sometimes maybe we are not enough time to go through each deeply. So that tool can help to know, for example, to all candidates. Send application, we will answer to Robert. Yeah, Robert will screen, okay, this candidates, these match best now, and screen part of them who suits best, and company will invite them to interviews. So I'm not thinking that it's something bad. Yes, new technologies, and in any way, I think it will be more and more such companies who will use it for first interviews.
Okay, what about the clothes? We have a question. Can the look of candidate, clothes he/she wearing, affect on the decision to hire her or him or not?
Of course, it depends from clothes and from company business style. Yes, if you will go to a bank with some, I don't know, with some really open summer, clothes, yes, it can make them impact, but not to decide. Yes, if a person who is really like strict person go with the suit to the company who is like very flexible, very creative, we can decide not to hire that person, because we will think, no, it's not suited to our company culture. We are all flexible. We are sitting with like summer clothes in our company. So it's good to search about company where you are applying. Maybe we have a Facebook profile, and you will find how we are dressing. What is their approach, what is their culture. Of course, decide if it's acceptable for you. Yes, what is your style. So it's value and cultural things, but can match or not match. So
okay, then another question about CV. How to present yourself in a CV that employer would invite you to the job interview?
Yeah, so of course, there is part of criteria what company need for that role, and this question if we need to have some already achievements for that role or not. But keeping in mind concrete CV, so from my experience, I can say that for me was important, or was like I was really always happy when I opened CV and it was everything clear, very well structured, and just by one look during several seconds I can understand where is experience, in what companies he or she worked, what functions, roles he or she did. So first of all, it need to be clear, easy understandable, not too overcrowded with like long sentences. Yes, it's better to describe in shorter sentences with key messages, not very long text, and because in long text without clear structure, you can lose the key message, and not all companies has a lot of time to read very long sentences, and yeah, so first of all, clear structure, avoid mistakes, yes, because if it will be a lot of mistakes in your CV, different formats, chaotic, so it can make impression for company that you are a chaotical person, or just not very like to have clean things if you are doing a lot of mistakes. So take care to do it in just nice, simple, understandable, with main your achievements, with main your experiences. So you can write about some projects that you did. If you are just starting your career, you didn't have much experience, or you didn't have maybe no experience. So then you can divide some achievements from your study field. Maybe you was participating in some Olympic, some competitions, so write it. Yes, if you achieved some place, also write it, but you got some achievement. Maybe you was participating in some sport activities. Also put it, show what you like achievements, that you like team playing, maybe you was volunteering. So put it as activity as well. So where you was volunteering, what was maybe main projects, main experience during what volunteering experience, what you did, and it can make an impact. I also found my first job without real job experience, but I had experience from my study. I was participating in student representation of our faculty, and I was coordinating like HR committee. Now I was taking care about various like team buildings and so on. And then after third course, I decided to search for summer job, for some internship, and I found application that was one bank is searching for intern in HR. Then I put on my CV that volunteering activities that I did in student representation, and during interview I introduced very motivatively, so what I did there, what I liked on doing it, why I chose that area, and I was selected for that role, and so started my job, in HR. And then I understood that motivation, what was the key thing why I was selected for that role, because later I got to know from already my colleagues at that time what it was like. Also candidates who was already on master study, the same thing as well. And I was just after third course. So they selected me because of motivation. So I think that also you can be selected because of your motivation. Okay.
Okay, then we have also two more questions about possibilities to be employed. So one question is about how does the family situation can affect the opportunities of being employed, like when you have and when you have not kids? What do you think?
So from one point, it's discriminational kind of questions, and companies shouldn't ask what is your family situation and so on. Yes, but if it will happen, what you will share about it, or you will be asked. So it depends from companies, and yes, some companies can decide it's not suitable, but I doesn't like such a companies. I think that companies should respect your personal time, and of course there is like legal things that companies need to provide you, parent days and so on. So in Cognizant, we are really keeping on that law things, and we are respecting family situation, and it's natural. If there is young people in your team, one day we will create family. So maybe at that time when we are participating in interview, we didn't have family, but it can happen in 1 year perspective and so on. And it's nothing bad, it's natural process. So it doesn't disturb you to search for jobs. So maybe you can meet such a companies who will, frustrate and say something negative, but try until I believe you can find a job where you can just combine your family and work life. Okay.
Okay, and what about the opportunities for young people? There's a question why it is more difficult for young people to find a job.
No, it depends from companies and so on. And, as I introduced, there is criteria for each role. Each company are setting criteria of what we need. And yes, for example, we also, when we are searching for positions for some roles, we know what it's must currently to have experienced person because of the reason why this position it's open. No, if some project manager moved to another team or left company, we need a person who will be able to manage that project. So we couldn't hire a person who didn't have experience on that for this concrete role. Yes, because it's big responsibilities and it's a must to have experience. Yes, but then we see demand. Okay, this team is growing. We already have enough experienced person, or there is, for example, at least 4 or 5 people who already are experienced. Yes, so we are growing that team. We can hire junior people without experience and train them. Yes, we can take interns and grow them to invite later to stay. So it depends from situations. So sometimes maybe you need to apply to more roles to find a job, but first of all, you can try to apply to that roles where it is written junior. Yes, so if it's junior role, so it's already clear that company is searching for junior people, and experience at this point is not so important for them. If there is not written a junior, you can ask for that company. You can write email on your application form. Okay, so I see you required 2-year experience. Would you consider junior people? I'm very motivated to it. Yes, and then company will answer you if it's possible or not. So there is always like expectations, from both sides, and that company can offer. But from my experience, I saw a lot of situations how junior people was hired and worked successfully. So I didn't think that it's like not possible to find a job for juniors. Totally not. Companies are also looking for it. Just you need to be on the right time in the right place and to catch that opportunity.
Okay, and I think it will be the last question from the audience is, what do you think why some employees sometimes they don't want to invest their time in a teaching of new employees, other employees that start to work?
I think it's a question of motivation and approach. Yes, maybe that person never had a good experience when she came to some companies, and maybe he or she wasn't never trained, and think that, okay, if I was put to that, try to do, so I will do the same. Yes. So it's an approach thing, and it depends from company policies and company approach. If company communicates all what is important to train, then it will become like a culture thing, and it will be natural to train new joiners. So I think it's changeable approach thing. Just not all companies maybe understood it, not all their employees understood, but if it's approach of all company, then every employee will know what we need to train juniors.
Thank you, Marija. I would like to thank you for your lecture and for answering so many questions. Thank you for. I would like to thank all the audience that have participated very actively and had listened to the lecture till the end. And don't forget about the series Time for Your Career, and join other lectures and seminars by representatives of Lithuanian and international companies. So I wish you a good evening. Have a nice evening, and see you next time.